Hello, everyone. I want to take a moment today with this devotion to share with you from the Gospel of Luke, the 23rd chapter. I want to read verses 39 through 43. Then one of the criminals who were hanged blasphemed him, saying, "If you are the Christ, save yourself and us." But the other answering rebuked him, saying, "Do you not even fear God, seeing you are under the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said to Jesus, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus said to him, "Assuredly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." There's something incredibly powerful about this story of the thief on the cross. Here's a man at literally the very end of his life, no second chances, no time to make things right, no opportunity to, turn over a new leaf or start over. And he wasn't a good man who had made a mistake. He was a criminal. He deserved the cross, and yet he made it to heaven. What stands out most, I think, in this story is that the man, this thief on the cross, had no religious background. He had never been to a school at the synagogue or had any theological training. He didn't understand doctrine. But something happened in that moment in this story. He looked at Jesus, who was beaten and bleeding and was being mocked and was dying. And he said to Jesus, "Lord, remember me." And in that moment, he recognized something that others had missed. And it's very similar to when Simon Peter declared who Jesus was. When Jesus asked Peter, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus told Peter that flesh and blood had not revealed that to him, but the Father in heaven. So it wasn't logic, it wasn't education, it was in fact revelation. And sometimes salvation doesn't begin with understanding. It begins with recognition. That thief on the cross saw a king when everyone else saw a condemned man. And this thief had nothing whatsoever to give. He couldn't go back and fix his past. He couldn't make any kind of restitutions. He couldn't prove himself. All he had was a moment and a choice. And in that moment, he chose to trust Jesus. And that's what grace is really all about. Grace doesn't wait for you and I to have it all together. Grace meets us right where we are. And his prayer, notice it wasn't long or polished. He simply said, "Lord, remember me." That's it. And Jesus responded immediately by saying, "Today you will be with me in paradise." No delay, no conditions, no process, just grace. And I want you to imagine for a moment with me that thief, when he arrived to heaven, I imagine the angels may have took a look at him and asked, "Well, how did you get here?" They checked the record. There was no baptism. There was no church attendance. There were no works this man had to point to. And confused, they may have asked him, "Well, on what basis are you even here?" And the man would have just simply said, "The man on the middle cross said I could come." And that's the only reason any of us will be there, not because we earned it, not because we deserve it, but simply because Jesus made a way. And this story reminds us of some very important truths. One is that it's never too late in our life to trust Jesus. Another truth is that no one is too far gone. Another truth is that salvation is not about our performance. It's about faith. And another truth is that a single moment with Jesus can change eternity. Whether someone has walked with God for years or they're just now realizing their need for Him, the same grace applies. At the end of the day, heaven will not be filled with people who had everything figured out. It will be filled with people who recognized Jesus for who He is and trusted Him. And when we stand there one day, if anyone were to ask you or me how we made it, what are we doing there? Our answer will be simple. The man on the middle cross said, I can come. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And Lord willing, we'll see you in the next devotion. God bless you.